Literally half the students can't even do math. Now, if you have leadership with such horrific and abysmal numbers, don't you think that perhaps it's time to switch out that leadership? Don't you think that perhaps instead of paying the Director of Education, in this case Jeewan Chanicka, $235,000 a year or so, and you get these kind of results, don't you think it's time that he ought to hit the road? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode. Today, I wanted to show you that the data released by the Waterloo District School Board in terms of the EQAO results show that they're absolute failures. And maybe it doesn't come to a surprise to you that the school boards in the education system doesn't really focus on academics. Instead, they focus on social justice, DEI policies, and having that in mind, you're probably aware that they're trying to make things equitable. Equitable means equal results. They don't do things by merit. So they're always trying, to show that they're always better. More students are learning, more students are passing. But even with all their hard work, they still fail to do their job because they don't focus on academics. I want you to see with your own eyes. Check out this post that they did on Instagram. By the way, they are very proud of this. So we're going to have to chat about this. Look at this. We've got some incredible news to share from the 2022-23 school year, and it's all about your achievements. The EQA results are in. You performed as well or better than most Ontario students in nearly every area. Keep up the great work. Here's the breakdown. Waterloo District School Board students performed above provincial results in grade 6 writing and mathematics and grade 9 mathematics. So, let's not take their word for it. Let's have a look ourselves and see what the numbers show. As I mentioned before, because they're trying to have an equitable outcome, I think that these tests are being lowered so more people can pass, right? And I bet you if they did tests that were, maybe 10, 20 years ago, the students would probably not do very well because they don't spend time learning this stuff. I'm going to tell you why right after. But first, let's look at the results. Grade 3 EQA results, 59%, and the provincial standards, 60%. Grade 6 results for math, 51%. The provincial standards, 50% of the students meet the minimum. Grade 9, 55%, as opposed to 54% for the standards.
I can't tell if they are being sarcastic or blindly optimistic. These results do not look good. If this is what they consider good, they are doing a poor job and don't seem to think they need to teach students better.
The whole province is doing horribly. Keeping up with horrible is not good or something to be proud of. This board and the province are failing to teach what they should be, and it is our students who are paying the price. They don't need empty accolades, they need a proper education.
Not sure these are results to be celebrated. Looks like lots of work needs to be done by boards, teachers and students.
I mean, what does that mean? It means that all the school boards in the province, they're all failures. And they're proud of this. They're all in this together. They all fail together. Literally half the students can't even do math. Now, if you have leadership with such horrific and abysmal numbers, don't you think that perhaps it's time to switch out that leadership? Don't you think that perhaps instead of paying the Director of Education, in this case Jeewan Chanicka, $235,000 a year or so, and you get these kind of results, don't you think it's time that he ought to hit the road? I mean, the ironic thing is that they're proud of this. Now, how is it possible that they achieve such abysmal results? and they're proud. Well, of course, they don't even focus on academics, like I've mentioned. If you read the book, The Marxification of Education by Dr. James Lindsay, he gives an example in that book about how social justice is derived from topics such as mathematics. And I did a podcast with Jim McMurtry where he talked about how math is racist as well. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. Like, I had to ask, please explain to me how this is possible, right? So in the book, Marxification of Education, he says that a grade 2 question would sound something like this. There's a family, they hop in a van, and they drive to an amusement park. The amusement park is 30 kilometers away. They drove 20 kilometers. How many more kilometers do they have until they reach the amusement park? Well, this probably won't raise any eyebrows. The answer is 10. However, the teachers don't actually focus on the math questions. What they do first is they talk about the question. Let's talk about who here has a family, right? Students put their hands up. Suddenly you're having a discussion about families. What kind of families does everybody have? Then you have a discussion on who can afford to go to amusement parks, right? Then you have discussions on, do you think it's good to drive all the way to the amusement park, right? How many have you been to an amusement park? Do you think everybody can afford to go? And then it just branches out in all the different directions. And instead of spending time to do the math question, they spend time focusing on anything else but the math questions, because they like to unpack it and they like to put a social justice spin on it. So yes, the government does have a curriculum for math and English and all of this stuff. And the school board says that they follow the curriculum. And you know what? I wish the schools would follow the curriculum. They can't even meet 50% of that curriculum for math. First of all, obviously they're not following the curriculum. I wish they would follow the curriculum because there is something in place. But as I said, they only follow the curriculum to put a spin on this and make it about social justice. This is why the school is proud of these low numbers, because they're not actually interested in educating academics. They're interested in political education, ideologies, and they'll pull all of these topics out of a simple question, and parents have no idea why their students can't even do basic math and why the school has a 50% failure rate, right? If you're tired of this stuff, maybe you should reach out to your principal, reach out to the trustees, and just tell them, this director of education, or whoever you want, any leader, basically, but I'm going to put the onus on the director of education because the director is the head of this, and he obviously has no clue. He's an activist, and most directors nowadays are activists. These activists need to get out of there because they're obviously not helping, and they're incompetent when it comes to teaching kids academics. If you're a parent, you need to reach out. You need to reach out to government officials. You need to tell them that this stuff is unacceptable. 50% pass, 50% fail, however you want to look at it, is unacceptable. And their own data shows that they have no idea what they're doing. However, you might think that's a bad thing, but they see it as a good thing, right? Because it's not about academics at the end of the day. I highly encourage you to read The Marxification of Education by James Lindsay so you can better understand the ideologies that are being promoted in the schools. Hope you enjoy this one. Please share it so that parents can see exactly what's happening in the school boards. I appreciate it. Take care.